In today's era where the internet is everywhere, the internet is the most common form of communication. Are some of you watching this video also able to find your soulmate through the internet? Although the internet has made many people find the sweetness of love, there are also risks and uncertainties behind it. It is difficult to see through a person in face-to-face communication. The screen across the ice adds more uncertainty, sometimes even fatal. Hello everyone, welcome to Urban Storytelling. The story we are going to tell today is about a brave woman who runs over more than 4,000 kilometers for the love of her heart. She thought she had found her own happiness, but what she was waiting for was a sad, crazy, and meticulously designed nightmare. So, what happened back then? Let's travel back to 2022 to understand this tragic story. Peru is a country located in the southwestern part of South America. It is famous for its long history, rich culture, and diverse landforms and creatures. The mighty Andes Mountains, the mysterious Amazon rainforest, make it a place where countless explorers travel. The tragedy we are going to talk about today happened in the Huachao region of the country. But the story has to start from 1,000 miles away in Mexico. Blanca is a confident and sunny Mexican woman. She is 51 years old and is currently single. Although there are pursuers around her, she is a romanticist with a romantic mind. She longs for a passionate love and finds her soulmate. She and her family have been living in Mexico City. Their family harmony is particularly good with their niece Carla. Her family is also very supportive of Blanca's decision to pursue romanticism. After all, who doesn't want to love passionately? But in life, Blanca has never met Prince Charming, so she focuses on the internet. This is also a popular way for young people to make friends. In early 2022, when Blanca was playing a bowling game, she met a Peruvian netizen. This netizen is a group of people in a game group. The two interact frequently in the game. Not long after, Blanca was promoted to a group manager by the other. Boris, as the game went on, the communication between the two gradually increased. In the process, Blanca was slowly attracted by the other party. It's not that this man is so handsome. After all, at his age, what is more important is the inside. What attracts him is his simplicity. This man is from Peru. He is 37 years old and his name is Juan. He was born on January 16, 1985 in Lima, Peru. He is still a medical student. Although he also participated in some medical work, in general, his income is not high. This makes Blanca feel at ease. After all, on the internet, there are many pretenders who show off their luxury cars and yachts. In the coming days, Blanca and Juan talk more and more. No matter what happens, they will share with each other. Later, it even developed to the point that one day, if you don't talk a few words, you feel empty in your heart. As time went by, Blanca became more and more certain that the other party was the soulmate she had been looking for. The two of them also officially confirmed their relationship. In this case, she did not hide her family. She even often shared her chat history with Juan to her niece, Carla. Her family is very happy that she can find a boyfriend. But considering that the other party is far away, 4,000 kilometers away from Peru, the family can only express their blessings politely. In the blink of an eye, it was July 2022. After more than a year of online dating, Blanca was no longer satisfied with online communication. In addition, Juan always advised her to go to Peru to meet. So Blanca made a crazy decision. She wanted to go to Peru alone. She even made the decision to live in Peru for a long time. In order to buy a ticket and save living expenses, she even sold her car and some clothes. On July 27th, everything was ready. Blanca said goodbye to her family and embarked on this journey of love that crossed thousands of kilometers. Her family was quite worried, but she thought, what era is this? The internet is developed. She will keep in touch with her family through Instagram, Facebook. There won't be any big problems. In addition, everything is worth it for love. On July 28th at 2:45 a.m., Blanca's flight arrived at Hawaii Chavez International Airport. They met with Juan successfully. The two people lived in the residence of Juan in Huachao. They started a romantic two-person world. At first, they went around the mountains and played in the water. It was very cool. Of course, while enjoying happiness, Blanca did not forget to share her situation with her family. She said her boyfriend Juan was very nice to her. The two people got along very well. Looking at the happy photos sent by Blanca, the family finally let go. I believe she really found her own happiness. However, on November 7th, Blanca's family found something wrong. Because Blanca's phone suddenly turned off, her social media account also stopped updating. This has never happened before. Blanca set up a new phone number in Peru. Her niece Cara did not know. She couldn't track her movements. She had to keep asking her aunt on Instagram and Facebook. After not getting a reply for 2 consecutive days, Cara, who was anxious, asked Juan for help on Facebook. In fact, she had already made Juan her friend. Before that, Juan also shared photos of playing with Blanca. But what made Kara feel strange was that Blanca's content on Juan's Facebook was all deleted. Although it was suspicious, she couldn't help it. She asked Juan, "My aunt lost contact on Sunday. How is she now? Can you help me contact her?" Juan replied politely, "I haven't heard from her for days. She thought she was bored with me, so she took the initiative to leave. I know she bought a ticket back to Mexico right away. I don't know anything else. When I heard you said she lost contact, I was very sad. I hope you can find her as soon as possible. By the way, her cell phone battery is broken. There may be no signal." For Juan's answer and performance, Kara felt very strange. If her aunt is coming back, she will definitely tell her family. It's absolutely abnormal to lose contact suddenly. And even if, as Juan said, her aunt bought a ticket back to the country, she should have arrived earlier. She told Kara directly that her aunt was in trouble. But she was born in Mexico, so she knew nothing about Peru. She didn't even know where to start. Juan refused to help her. Inevitably, Kara could only actively contact the police in Oaxaca. At the same time, she posted on social media hoping to arouse the attention of some Mexican compatriots. Many Mexicans reposted this notice. Kara also contacted the Mexican embassy in Peru. The embassy attaches great importance to cooperating with the Peruvian police to find her. On November 13th, a week had passed since the mysterious meeting in Oaxaca. The local police did not find any clues. The only thing they found was that there was no registration record of her at the airport. That means she didn't leave Peru at all. Kara, who is far away in Mexico, firmly believes that her aunt's disappearance has something to do with Juan. In order to arouse the attention of netizens, Kara posted publicly on Facebook and called on everyone to help find her. At the same time, she posted pictures of Juan on her Facebook account. This wave of operation made Juan a focus of attention. In addition, the disappearance incident has already spread locally. The people nearby have been discussing whether it was Juan who hid Blanca or even murdered her. Compared to the people in reality, netizens are even more agitated and conduct various interrogations on the internet about her. Some even directly call her a murderer. Juan was completely anxious. In the face-to-face attack, both sides were on fire on the internet. When the police and many enthusiastic people who care about Blanca were looking for her all over the world, a terrible thing was happening at the same time. On November 9th, several Peruvian fishermen were at the Huachao beach and saw a toy that looked like a hand. But when they walked in, they were scared to death. What kind of toy is this? It's obviously a human hand. The fishermen decided to call the police. After careful inspection, they confirmed that the fingerprints on the hand were completely erased, but they didn't know if it was a negligence or intention. A silver ring on the finger was retained. Unfortunately, the silver ring is just a label. There is no special label, so they couldn't track the clue. The police then searched the beach on a large scale. They soon found a skull. What was terrifying was that the skull was removed by surgery and its identity could not be determined. The next day, an arm and some human organs were washed ashore by the waves. The third day, more human organs were washed ashore by the waves. The forensic team compiled all the organs and confirmed that the victim was a middle-aged woman. Further inspection revealed a more cruel fact. All the victim's internal organs were removed, and the method was professional. The murderer was simply crazy. Such violence also angered countless people. At this time, the news that Blanca was missing was already all over Peru. In addition, the beach where the body was found was not far from the place where Blanca was missing. The police guessed that the victim was Blanca. The police immediately contacted Blanca's family and told them about this guess. Because the murderer destroyed the body's facial fingerprint, the identity could not be identified for a while. The only clue was the silver ring and a butterfly tattoo on the left shoulder. When they released the ring, photo, and tattoo, Blanca's family was devastated because Blanca had the same ring and tattoo. But legally, rings and tattoos are not enough. They had to do a DNA test. So Blanca's family rushed to Peru as soon as possible and provided DNA, samples, and dental records. The result of the test was Blanca. The family was so sad that they did not forget to seek justice for Blanca and find out the murderer behind it. Who is the suspect? No doubt, it's Juan. First of all, he was the only person Blanca knew in Peru. Second, he was a medical student and was good at dissecting. Third, after Blanca's accident, he posted a video of dissecting, and the suspect was a human. These clues are too obvious. More importantly, the police searched Juan's house and found 3 large suitcases. One of them was for women. In addition, there were several women's clothes and a small Mexican flag, although it looked like there was nothing wrong in the room, but through the Lumino test, it was found that there was a lot of blood in the kitchen, bathroom, and laundry room. Obviously, this is the scene of the first crime. On November 17th, all the clues found pointed to Juan. The police arrested him. The charge was murder and illegal human trafficking. But Juan firmly denied the crime. He emphasized that he didn't know Blanca at all. He also said that when Blanca went missing, that is, between November 7th and 9th, he was not in Oaxaca. These days, his cell phone signal did not appear in Oaxaca. In order to prove his innocence, he also told the police that he would do his best to cooperate and that he would keep his mouth shut. But his explanation was too vague, and he chose to avoid many questions about the police and even lied. For example, he said he didn't know Blanca. When the police checked his cell phone computer, they found a lot of chat records between him and Blanca. He also said that Blanca did not live in his house at all. But the landlord said that the two people had been living here for more than 3 months and had been living on their own in the relationship of lovers. Due to the fact that the police already had more than 60 clues to prevent Blanca from escaping, the court imposed a 9-month pre-trial detention in the hearing on November 22nd. This is a legal measure used to temporarily imprison the defendant during the trial of the criminal case in the prison. This measure is usually used by suspects who may escape or obstruct the investigation. Generally, the case can be detained for up to 9 months. It is reasonable to say that the next link is the trial. But there is a problem in Peru. The law in Nachas, Peru divides female murder cases into 2 types. One is a normal murder case. The second is a female murder case. The latter is much stricter than the former. This is mainly to deal with the violence based on gender in Latin America. It is to better protect women's rights. When a normal murder case does not have an aggravated incident, the sentence is generally 15 to 25 years in prison, and the female murder case is 25 years to life in prison. Of course, how to define it as a female murder case is quite complicated. This involves whether there is abuse of women, gender discrimination, control or domination of women, domestic violence, etc. The evidence is very difficult to get. Sometimes it will take years. It is worth mentioning that Juan tried to make a clear statement during his imprisonment. He claimed to prove his innocence with blood, but he just pretended to show it to people. In order to survive, he changed his statement several times. From the beginning, he did not know Blanca. Later, he said they were just friends. When he learned that the police had the solid evidence, he emphasized that Blanca disliked him and hated him. Then he took the initiative to leave. Although he did not say the details of the crime, it was obvious that he wanted to guide the case in the direction of a normal murder case. In this way, the crime would be relatively light. But in front of the facts, his little thoughts seemed to be extremely weak. In September 2013, the trial against Juan officially began. The police showed various clues found in the past 2 months. The first is the 3 suspicious points mentioned earlier, and the blood found in his house. The second is that Blanca had a hard time in Peru, and her relationship with Juan deteriorated day by day. After spending his savings, he could only rely on Juan. But the other party only gave him 80 soles of living expenses every week. He wanted to leave, but had no money to buy a plane ticket. The third is that on November 6th, after the last phone call between Juan and Blanca, they lost contact. The police speculated that he was killed at that time. On November 7th, Juan turned off his phone in order to make proof that he was not in Oaxaca. At 6:40 p.m., he bought soda water, cigarettes, biscuits, and 8 bags of garbage bags. Then he went home. He also told the landlord that he needed to park a motorcycle in the apartment building for the time being. On November 8th, Juan secretly went to another store and bought a lot of whiteners and disinfectants. After returning to the house, he never came out or went to class. On November 9th, Juan went out with a huge backpack and went to the beach nearby. Then, on the same day, he found a broken arm and skull on the beach. On November 6th, Blanca's body was tested and diagnosed with a professional surgical knife. The murderer has obvious medical characteristics. The bloodstains on Juan's body and the hair after the test belonged to Blanca. Although there was no direct witness, according to the above clues, the result was obvious. Juan is the murderer, and he obviously has the authority to control Blanca's behavior. Every week he only gives Blanca 80 living expenses to control her, and not let her leave. In addition, when investigating Juan's past, he found that he had a marriage and had 2 children. The reason for the divorce in the early stage is that there is domestic violence. He has committed violent acts on the body and psychology of his ex-wife. With the previous case and the authority in this case, the judge thinks that Juan committed the crime of female murder. The judge said that Juan knew about this heartbreaking case and that his inspiration for the case came from a horror movie called The Monster of St. Paul, and there is this movie on Juan's computer. On September 12, 2023, the judge made the final ruling that Juan committed the crime of murdering Blanca and was sentenced to 35 years in prison. In addition, he needs to compensate Blanca's family 50,000 sols. Although Juan has been sanctioned by the law, the mystery behind the case has not been completely solved. This is related to his motive for the case. He obviously did not commit the murder out of anger. His purpose may be for the organs in Blanca's body. If so, it may not be the first time he committed the crime. Behind him must be a criminal network that sells human organs. He is just one of the small characters. Those organs are indeed nowhere to be found. The university professor who studied Juan publicly called for a thorough investigation of Juan. He is likely to be a member of an organ-selling organization, so it's far from enough to just convict him. The police also once suspected that Juan's brother and his friend who accompanied him to buy the garbage bag were related to the organ-selling case. But unfortunately, no relevant evidence has been found. These doubts and unresolved truths make the society, especially Blanca's family, feel extremely disappointed and heartbroken. Kala keeps posting on the internet, hoping that his aunt's accident can be a warning to society. In fact, the problem of female safety in Peru is indeed more serious. Peru is one of the most prominent countries in Latin America for sexual violence. Thousands of cases of violence against women are reported every year, including domestic violence, sexual harassment, sexual assault, and murder. According to statistics from 2022, an average of 3 to 4 women die in violent cases in Peru every week. In addition, there have been more than 11,524 cases of missing women in the past year. Only 48% of the missing people were found. Behind these chilling data are countless broken families and unrelenting pain. In order to deal with these social problems, the Peruvian government set up an emergency women's center to provide support and protection. But despite this, similar tragedies are still repeating and heartbreaking. I hope that these tragedies will also ring a bell for us. The red line separates the poor, and the true heart needs to be replaced. If you want to see more, subscribe my channel and see you next time.